Right, hello and welcome back. I thought I'd do another very quick video, and this one will be quite a quick video because my last video was on Himitangi, and one of my work colleagues, Ange, was born and bred in Himitangi, and after watching that video, and I think she found the video quite amusing, but she did point out that I had a couple of things wrong, so I wanted to correct my viewers. I'm not trying to lead any of you astray or telling you things that simply aren't so. And I thought I'd also discuss a new place with you as well, since I've had lots of feedback saying people like these videos that show lots and lots of that tell about different towns. So I was talking about Himitangi. I was talking about how there's two places to eat. You could either eat at arranged marriage restaurant. I definitely got that one correct, and that is the name of the restaurant here in Himitangi. I also mentioned that if you would like out with a first date or something and didn't really want to take us somewhere called arranged marriage restaurant for fear that it might give her ideas, you could take her to Mr. Grumpy's Cafe. Now it turns out that's where I was mistaken. Apparently Mr. Grumpy's Cafe, I must have read Google wrong, is actually in Foxton Beach, which is like the next township along from Himitangi. So it is very, very close to Himitangi, but it's not in Himitangi, Mr. Grumpy's Cafe. But Ange was also at great pains to point out there was in fact another place to eat, or a couple more. There was the boat club, which is a boat club slash cosy club, so there's the old cosy club you could eat at. Plus there used to be a wine shop at the same time as the computer shop was there that I was talking about very amusedly. There was also a wine shop at the same time. So this is the vet, as you can see from the number plate there. I've got the vet out here, and so I've just got the vet looking at a couple of my cows because they're pregnant. I need them to be looked after because obviously they are my main source of income, my dairy cows. So yes, and the other things that, so she corrected me in the places to eat, but she also pointed out a couple of other things that I thought would make really, really amusing stories about Himitangi. Now, the first one she pointed out to me was that there's actually some street lights in some of the paddocks, and that's done so that at night time, when all you can see is the street lights of the township, it makes the township look a lot bigger than it really is, having some street lights in some of the paddocks like that. And I thought that was very, very amusing and worth sharing. And the other one that was very, very amusing is there was a guy that, although he wasn't born in Himitangi, he lived most of his life there, whose name was Carl Sims. Now Carl Sims was a very good painter, but he never had much luck selling paintings of his own, and what he used to do instead is he'd do forgeries and sell these, and the artist that he forged most often was Goldie, who was another New Zealand artist. And what was interesting is that Carl Sims got caught and hauled up before the magistrate for selling these forgery paintings, and he got given a community service, a sentence, and as part of his community service he had to paint the town hall and also the local toilets. But after being caught and being done for forgery like that, he decided to actually change his name by deed poll to Carl Goldie. So legally that was then his name, and the reason he did that was he could carry on painting these forgery to Goldie paintings, paint the signature Goldie on the bottom. He couldn't actually be done for forgery any longer because that was actually his name now. So I thought that was definitely a very, very amusing story and well worth sharing with you all. So that was the things I wanted to tell you about Himitangi that I missed on the last video. And then I thought I'd talk to you also about another township here in New Zealand called Bulls, spelt the same way as you'd expect, B-U-L-L-S. Now if you're going to Google this place afterwards, you'll need to put Bulls Manawatu. So if you just put Bulls, you get pictures of bulls, the animals, rather than finding the township bulls. So if you put Bulls Manawatu, and I'll write that in the description for this video as well, so you've got the spelling for it, then you'll find the township of Bulls in New Zealand. Now, Bulls is an interesting township because what the locals have done is they've put signs on a lot of the buildings with the word bull in it. So for an example, the local school has the sign that says teach a bull, and there's a little police station there in Bulls, and it's got the sign that says Constable, and there's even a McDonald's there with the sign Edible, and there's an ATM machine, and it's got the sign Bankable, and even the local public toilets has the sign Relievable on it. So if you Google Bulls, you can see a lot of these signs, and they are very amusing. So I thought I'd share about that. Now the other thing that's slightly interesting about Bulls, I suppose, is there's a couple of different food shops in Bulls, and I have actually, at one of the dairies there, bought milk there before. So I suppose that answers the age-old question that yes, in fact, you can get milk from Bulls, because I've done that, so I know you can. Which is just as well, because when I look at my farm here, and if I go to the animals here, for some funny reason, when I go down to my paddock of bulls here, now this paddock here has only ever had bulls in it. It's never had any cows in it. Yet, as you can see, it's producing a wee bit of milk. So my bulls on this farm are producing milk as well. I don't know why it's doing that on this map. It doesn't normally, but just for some reason it is right now. Now the other interesting things about bulls, apart from the signage, is that Chris Amon, I think probably the only New Zealand Formula 1 driver to ever have done very, very well. Oh, no, correction, not, because Bruce McLaren was also a Kiwi, but Chris Amon was born in Bulls, and so was Travis Banks, who's a professional wrestler. Now, I must confess, I don't follow the wrestling, so I don't personally know anything about Travis Banks, but I thought I'd mention it just in case someone else here did. Well, that's about all I really wanted to talk about on this video for Bulls, but I'm also going to show you one other thing, because one of my followers, AK, mentioned that on my last video there's a lot of dust coming off my roller, so I thought I'd just show you what that's the reason for that. So I go in here, I have a mod downloaded. I'm going to go to mod settings here, and the mod's called Dusty Lands Extension. And if you download that mod, here we are in Game Save 1. So what you can do is you can set the amount of dust to come off the back of each vehicle. So on my Dusty Lands extension, I've got the user scale set at 2.0, so that means everything automatically is going to put up twice as much dust as it normally would in the vanilla game with no mods. And then I've actually changed the settings of some of these to make them slightly higher or lower than that 2.0 default as well. And you can change each one individually here in the here in the XML or in the settings menu. You can also change the overall user scale there in game. You don't need to go out of the game and into the menu to change that setting there. But if you're wanting to change all of these individual ones, you do need to do that either in the menu or in the XML. But that's why my roller, so if you have a look there, roller's at 1.75, so but that's 1.75 of the 2, so that would actually be about 3.5, I believe it would be exactly 3.5 times more dust than what the roller would normally have in the vanilla game. You can have this set at a number less than 1 if you want, so you have less dust than the vanilla game has. I really, really like that mod. I think it makes the game a lot more realistic having dust coming off the vehicles. The only downside of it, well, I've found this at any rate, I suffer a wee bit from hay fever, and sometimes, because the brain is quite a weak muscle really, I don't know if any of you, for example, have ever sat in a train that's sitting still at a station when the train next to you on the other side of the platform pulls out of the station, and you could swear black and blue that your train is moving. Your brain certainly registers that your train is moving. It's not until that other train leaves your eyesight and your train's still at the platform, you suddenly realise, no, it wasn't your train moving at all, it was only this other one. And so the brain is quite easily fooled like that. And so when you have a lot of dust pouring off equipment on your farm as you're doing things, sometimes it can start to affect your hay fever, even though there's actually no dust in the room because it's all on the screen. Your brain sees that dust and starts going, oops, when I see dust and things, I start sneezing or what have you, or my eyes start watering. And that's where I find it. Sometimes when I'm harvesting or ploughing or something, my eyes start to water because I've got the dust turned up quite high on the screen. But it's a small price to pay for the realism. Okay, well that's really all I wanted to discuss on this video, and so I'll catch you all again later. Thanks, bye.